Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun. We have now made it to the Jane portion of the Diddy trial. This is day 17, and Jane is up. Let's get into it. And you know why I got this picture up here, so let's go. So child Jane has taken the stand. Any city press is not describing her physical appearance because Jane is her pseudonym. So we just gonna go with that, okay? She grew up in California. She went to junior college. Then she started modeling, and she got into a relationship in 2021 to 2024 with Sean Combs. Child, when they asked her what did she call him, she said Sean baby Ernie. And they said, why Ernie? That's what he wanted her to call him, and he called her Bert. When did you meet? On a yacht, on a girls trip in Miami in 2020. He was dating her friend. She thought he was funny. They went on a yacht and they partied. Then Puffy, while dating her friend, gave Jane his cell phone number. They asked, did she see drugs? She said, yes. That first night, one of my friends said she wanted them, I guess. They said, we don't want you to guess. We need you to know. Where did you go? She said she went to the studio. In 2-Star, a man pulled out pink powder. Child, then her friend had got upset. Because I'm sure if Diddy had slid her his number, it's a lot of flirting and smiling and stuff going on. So the friend was like, we got to go. Okay? So they abruptly left. So the next day, they had drinks by the pool. They had a movie night in his residence. He texted me. That's what Jane said. I'd like to take you out. I replied, it felt complicated. Absolutely, it felt complicated because that's your friend's man. And you are answering the text, and you should not. You should have told your friend. Then they asked where she was living. She was on the East Coast. Diddy did contact her. He was very flirtatious. He invited her back to Miami, and they asked her to read the text. They did not show him in the gallery, and she said, he says, call me Ernie. Then the AUSA asked who was pursuing who. She said he was pursuing her. That means Diddy was pursuing Jane. She said, but I was being considerate of my girlfriend, but she got engaged and moved overseas, so I felt I could do this Sean thing. Girl, that's your friend. Oh my God, there is no Lord to Jesus. Then the AUSA was like, has she been seeing Sean and her fiance at the same time? Child, she said yes. Child, now her friend has gone and got married. I wonder how that relationship is going after today. But then, let me keep going. So Jane said, I went to Miami in January of 2021. He got me a hotel room. They asked, where was the first date? She said, a hotel balcony. How long did the date last? 5 days. And then the AUSA asked her, what did you tell him about your past? Now, child, she done told Puffy that she was dating someone that he knew, right? She said, my child's father didn't get along with Sean. Sean did not seem to have a problem with that. How many children do you have? 1. What did Sean say about his relationships? He said, only my friend. He said it wasn't a real relationship. The girl that got up and left abruptly because she felt like that her friend was flirting with Diddy, it wasn't a real relationship? That's wild behavior. Then next, the AUSA asked, what did you do? She said, we made a lot of love. We walked on the beach. Later, we went on a proper first date, dressed up, a restaurant. I was head over heels. How did you stay in contact? She said they text. Did you travel with him to Turks and Caicos? She was very excited about going to Turks because she said she had never been. And the AUSA was like, who else went in February of 2021? She said, KK went, Christina Coran, the chef, the butler, and at one point his barber. Then the AUSA was like, how long did you stay? 9 days in Turks and 6 days in the Bahamas. Have you ever been on a vacation like that? That is wild. So then, child, they played a video, but they didn't show it to the gallery. She said that she took the video. They asked, what do you see? She said the villa, the vibe. What did you tell Sean? She said she told him that she was a single mother on social media, and she called herself a content creator. Then when she was explaining what she was doing, like advertising on social media, she said that because he had taken her away for so many days, She said that he gave her $10,000 and she really appreciated it. And then they asked her, what drugs had you used before? She said ecstasy twice, 2014 and 15. And then they asked her, you used it in Turks? Who suggested it? She said, I used it like 10 times in the pool. He gave me a pill, said it would be more fun. I was walking down the beach with him and I fell. Then she was like, I think I was screaming. They put me in the shower. KK did. And then the AUSA was like, did you take another ecstasy pill? She said yes, but this time she took a smaller dose. It made her feel relaxed, euphoric, and like she was ready for the bang bang. You know what I'm saying? It enhanced touch and her sense, and it made me feel more flirtatious and loving. Child, this is a lot. Child, then they asked her how did she feel coming down off of the ecstasy. She said it was like readjusting coming down from a high. She said she was just tired. And then she told them that Sean had given her ecstasy, right? And then went on to say, how much did he wire you? She said 10 grand. We started using the L word. He told me that he was seeing multiple women and she was with it because she liked him. Then the AUSA was like, did you have the sense you had the option of a monogamous relationship? She said no. So Jane knew exactly what it was. Exactly. So then she was asked, like, did you continue dating Sean? She said until his arrest. But they had some breaks. They had 2 breaks, the second in October of 2023 for 4 months. And they got back together in January of 2024. And they were private. And you know why they were private. We can talk about that offline. Then she was asked, did you post about your relationship with Sean on your social media? She said only once. And she moved to the East Coast. She moved from the East Coast to LA. She said he gave her $6,000 for a moving trip. And she was asked in 2021, February to May, how often did you see him? She said every other week. So then they was asking, like, what did he give you? She thought he was sweet. Then he gave her money through cash and wires. And they asked, like, how often did you use drugs? She said every time she saw him. Every time she saw Puffy, Sean Diddy Combs, Ernie, she was like, ecstasy, Molly, Coca-Cola, K. She said Molly enhanced like ecstasy. And then she went on to say that Coca-Cola made her feel alert, but I didn't like the K, the walls were closing in. And they asked, what context did he give you these drugs? She said, when they were having bang bang. What did you learn? She said so many things. How he liked to have those videos playing while they were doing bang bang, child. Then she told us that he liked her in lingerie and high-end stripper shoes. And she put baby oil all over her and all over him. And then they asked her what type of rooms that they were in. They were in his bedroom. And then they asked her how were they lit. Child, she said it was red lights. That's how it was lit. And she loved it. So the AUSA was like, in May of 2021, what happened? She said, I remember that when we would watch those videos, we would have a lot more fantasy conversation. And her voice started cracking. Do you need a break, Jane? She said, no. We would search things on these websites. He wanted to fantasize. He wanted me to fantasize. Then the AUSA was like, in May of 2025, was there objection? And then the AUSA was like, on May of 2021, I am so sorry. Where were you watching the videos? She said, Mia, I had been awake for 15 hours or 24 hours. What were you on? She said, ecstasy and Molly. He said, I can make it happen. You were up for 15 hours or 24? Child, now this right here is when Diddy got to introducing her to other stuff, allegedly. She said that she had come out the bathroom. He was on the phone. And he said, it's going to happen tonight. She was like, okay. But she was nervous. She said there were people in the hotel setting the room up. The lights were already red. She said, do you remember the assistant? She said, I don't. But he said someone was coming and he knows the guy. And she said she was super nervous. And she said, and she was asked, who did you think this guy was? She said the fantasy guy. Then the AUSA was like, what did you think would start happening? She was like, actual things between me and the fantasy guy. Child, she done took Cassie's place. And then the AUSA was like, it was a regular hotel room or a suite? She said a suite. Y'all, I'm going to be back with a part 2. But that's why he said WTF. And word on the curb is her name is Mud on this internet. So I'll be back.